I pray for someone like you.
I don't know the lyrics.
And I thank God.
Oh, is that like a start? What?
All my life.
All right, y'all. Let's get started. I didn't know we have some cosplay kings over here. I didn't know we had a quartet starting up.
All right, boys.
All right, so welcome everyone. This is Cosplay Kings, Craft, Character, and Commanding the Spotlight. And here I have our four gentlemen here. They are cosplay judges. You know, they're a rarity in the cosplay judging world, but I wanted to bring them all together to BlerDCon. This is the place for it. So without further ado, we'll get started with our questions. Well, I'll do introductions. So to my right here, this is Jonathan Young, also known as Cryptic Cyborg. He was a judge for the Kids Cosplay Contest. Round of applause. And then next I have Michael, who is also known as SirJulius Cosplay, one of our cosplay guests for the adults.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I guess I'll stand up too. I'll stand up.
And then up next we have William Hunter, also known as Blaque Knyght Cosplay. He was our Black Cosplay of the Year 2025.
If there's anybody here from Detroit, what up, dog?
And then last but not least, we have Alphonse Media, also known as Isaiah Blue. He is also a cosplay judge.
What up?
What up?
All right, gentlemen, without further ado, we'll get started. So we'll just move down the line. Whoever wants to go first. What was your first cosplay, and how do you feel about it now?
I'll start. All right, so my first cosplay was Arkham Knight from Batman Arkham Knight, which was back in 2015. And if you know anything about this cosplay or this character, he wears like a visor. He has like all this armor running around him. He was like one of the most intimidating cosplays I've ever started, generally because it requires amount of sewing and also armor work, which, like I said, was kind of daunting because I didn't know how to put, a sewing machine together, and I didn't know that a bobbin in the sewing machine was actually important. So because I was like trying to sew it like, oh, why is everything rippling? I was like, oh shit, I forgot to, put the bobbin in. Yeah. Well, yeah, it was a fun one. I even competed in it back, like I said, about 3 months after I finished it. I didn't win any awards, but I definitely got a workout, chasing one of the, I guess, announcers. They told me to basically chase him around the whole entire hall. I was like, all right, whatever. It's just for an act. But I was like, okay, whatever. Nothing fell off. But, I definitely learned from that experience how to basically kind of make more mixed media stuff. So, yeah, that's my first one.
You said they asked you to chase somebody?
Yeah, they literally, like, the dude was like, oh no, it's him. And then he runs off because he, like, cosplays the Joker. So I was like, all right, I got to chase him and run off.
As somebody that's used to big suits, I know exactly how it sounded in your suit. All you heard is,
I was like, okay, I don't know if this is normal, but whatever. Shoot. But yeah, that was it, man.
Well, for those of y'all that know me, I'm usually, at least like for the first couple days, Friday or Saturday, I'm here every year as Drunkle Iro. But technically, that was not my first cosplay. See, I was introduced to cosplay like 3 years ago, and the theme of that year was Fade to Black. And my friend told me about it. I'm like, oh, damn, I ain't got nothing. So basically, I just got like a kilt and a headband and like some rimfair gear, and I borrowed a pair of fairy wings from her, and everything. Just tied them on, and be like, look, I mean, it may not be nothing popular, but at least I'm within theme. So technically, that was my first cosplay. But after my first year walking around, seeing how everybody was going so hard, it's like, all right. Next year, I ain't playing. I'm stepping it up. I'm doing something, And technically, that was how Drunkle Iro was born.
Oh, man, I got to say from mine, it was when Avengers was coming out, and everybody was like, yo, Nick Fury will be easy. I was just starting to lose my hair, so I felt insulted. But I pulled it off, made it epic, and I think last BlerDCon I debuted the Zombie Avengers group, and it turned out epic. So it all worked out. It all worked out.
As for my first cosplay, oh my God! Every time I'm asked this question, I'm reminded how long I've been doing this. My first cosplay was in 2009. I did Master Chief from Halo. Everybody knows what Halo is, the video game. And that actually got me hired to be a manager at GameStop when I went to do my interview. Yeah, no, seriously. So I was working on it at the same time when Halo Reach was about to come out. And I'm in the interview, and the district manager was like, "So what are your hobbies?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm doing this costume." He was like, "What is it?" I was like, "It's Halo." And I showed him all the progress pictures and stuff like that. He was like, "You think you'll get it done by the time the game comes out?" And I was like, "Yeah, I get the job, man." And he was like, "All right, done." So that was my first cosplay. I've been doing it ever since.
Yo, did your old boss ever ask you that trade-in, what that trade-in value was?
Oh, the trading value? Yeah, no, let's not talk about that.
All right, thank you. So our next question is a little bit funny. What character would you absolutely never cosplay and why?
Okay, I'm gonna start with this one because y'all keep on asking. I'm like, yo, look, I know how many times y'all asked me to do Bishop. I'm not doing Bishop. I'm not doing Cyborg again. I already did Cyborg. I'm not doing Blade again. All right, I'm not doing that. Like, because a lot of times they're like, oh, you're a black guy. You should do Bishop. I'm like, okay, well I can't do Cyclops. Nah, I don't know about that. You can do Bishop. I'm like, come on, right? I mean, hey, Bishop's cool. I'm just tired of hearing about Bishop. That's all. Here you go, man.
Okay. Someone once asked me, they shall remain nameless, but they asked me to do some kind of cosplay as Donkey Kong.
Oh no.
Yeah. Do I need to further elaborate?
No, you did not.
I ain't think so. Yeah, y'all get it.
So the character I refuse to cosplay is, I feel like, because once you get into 3D printing, everybody does this. That's the one thing they go to, and that's Iron Man. I just people have asked me but you can do it. I know you can do it. And I was like, yeah, I know I can do it. Doesn't mean I want to. Simple as that. It's bad enough 9 times out of 10 when I'm in my big builds. All I hear when I'm walking around is click clank, 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 click clank. Stop. Click clank, click clank, click clank, click clank. So yeah, let's Iron Man is definitely not one of them.
I gotta say, in my case, never say never, but any cartoon character that gets abused, like the sidekick character of an evil villain, not gonna do it. And I've been asked, I will not be Mugsley from was it Wacky Races? Not gonna be him. He gets beat up too much.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, can't do it. But until then, I don't have one right now.
That's fair.
I
All right,
totally
thank
hate side characters. If this guy that's just there for 2 minutes, I'm like, nah.
All right. So I'm going to shift over to the competition side of things. What's the most ambitious cosplay you've ever seen in a competition? Any kind of competition, whether it be BlerDCon or any of the other competitions you judged?
For me, it's always been these Sakizo builds and stuff. It's wild how much work gets put into it. Because at a distance, you think it's just something simple, and then they tell you how many weeks and months they put these little flowers together and a bouquet together, and it would be taking them literally a year to put all that together. So usually I'm just like, whoa, okay, this is a lot of dedication for something you just only maybe wear once or twice, So I'm just saying the Sakizos.
For me, I mean, it still dates back to 2 or 3 years ago. It was an awesome con, my first time going, and this dude was a 9-foot tall Warhammer Space Marine. Y'all probably seen him, but I mean, they couldn't let this dude on stage because of the stilts, and it was just not safe enough to just let him climb up. I'm just sitting there bruh, how do you function that? How do you get through the front door with that stuff? Just so many questions. But hey, we suffer for our art,
I would say the most ambitious, it wasn't a cosplay per se, it was the prop towards the cosplay. It was a GalaxyCon. I was a judge for GalaxyCon. I do not remember the character, but it was definitely from an anime. But the prop that she was using was a spell book, and she made the book. Like it was leather bound, everything. And the pages she wanted. I remember she wanted the pages to look like old, like scroll like, right? So she took shredded paper, heated it up, and pressed it. Cut out the pages. What's the fountain pen with like the feather? She got one of those pens, wrote the quill, yeah, wrote the inscriptions in the book, and it was leather bound. It was sewn together like, and she was like, "Yeah, I made this book," and I was like, "What do you mean you made the book?" She was like, "Yeah, I pressed." She showed me the printing press of the recycled paper, and she pressed it and cut out the pages and everything, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" She definitely won. She won the journeyman, but I do remember that. I remember I was like, this is amazing. Like you went above and beyond just for a prop, and then her cosplay itself was just amazing. So yeah, that's what I remember.
I gotta say, I gotta give a shout out to the kids winner from last year's with the Five Nights at Freddy look. One, not only are you in a suit you can barely see in, she had lights, everything was flashing, and I think it was what Heelys or actual roller skates on that whole time. I had to give props to everything on that.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so a little bit more serious now. Was there ever a moment when you almost felt like quitting, like someone said something to you, or anything negative, and so what kept you in the community after that moment?
I think for me, so I had a moment where I did kind of just take a long waiting period where I did this one last cosplay that I thought, okay, this is like some of the best work I did, and I did a competition and I didn't win. And I was like, okay, I'm getting burned out, at that moment. So I try to kind of reconfigurate why, well, basically think about why I was doing cosplay in general. So I took a long break trying to reassess myself. I think it took about maybe 2 years before I actually go back into thinking about cosplay again. But like between that meantime, I was just doing a lot of photography or cosplay photography. But yeah, it was just, there was a moment when I did quit, but then I came back. But I came back with a better perspective of what I want to do instead of just kind of like chasing like, the algorithm and things like that. So that was just one thing that I had to do, like was just refocus about what I was doing, my goals.
For me, it was actually the haters that kept me going. Cause well, like when I did Yasuke, last year, I mean, I know I signed up for it and everything. I was locked in. Once I signed up for it, and I looked at the project. And there were times where I mean, I got started, and then I just like, as I kept going, just realized how much more daunting the whole undertaking was gonna be. From trying to figure out what I was gonna do to wiping my tears away from the sting of looking too close at super glue while while I'm trying to put something together. I mean, there was times where I like, okay, I need to get back from this. I mean, like this is too draining. Then I got caught into that cesspool, formerly known as Twitter. Where they were bad mouthing the game, AC Shadows, this, that, and the other. I mean, y'all know what I'm talking about. So I'm like, all right then, let's get the glue again, yo. We're gonna do this.
To piggyback on what you said, same thing with me. The haters keep you going, and it's to the point where I remember when I didn't per se quit, just had to take a step back because one, I was tired, working a full-time job, family man, and sometimes you just can't do everything. You gotta take a step back, not only from your craft, but I had to take a step back from social media because sometimes you catch yourself in that doom scrolling, and you get distracted and you don't get anything done. The highest experience that I've had, well, like I said, I didn't want to quit, but I was just like, wow, y'all really suck. Like humans suck. When I debuted at my Mihawk, right, and it's the old, and for me with these people, I'm like, y'all need to come up with some new jokes because now we're just tired. So of course, instead of Mihawk, I was being called Kneehawk, you know, and they was full body hockey. Mihawk has full body, and I'm like, can you at least come with something else original? Like we've heard it a million times before, And we just trying to have fun. We just trying to dress up and just have a good time. And then here y'all come. And 9 times out of 10, it's from the outside. It's not from people that actually do it themselves. They just get online. They just want to say nonsense and stuff. So, but like I said, it's always good to just take a step back, put the phone down, go outside, touch some grass, look at the sun. Simple as that.
I fully agree on that. I fully agree. And for me, a time when I felt like giving up was honestly when life itself was just life and way too much. But the thing that kept me going was the community, family, friends, and everybody. And just whenever they saw something that they thought I would like, oh, let me tag them, let me share a picture and all that. And that's honestly what kept me going.
Right, awesome, awesome. All right, so next up, I'm going to skip a little bit. How do you feel race bent or culturally reimagined cosplay? So, like, people put an afro to a wig, or put an afro twist in, or they put twists or whatever locks in their cosplay. So, and also, what makes one feel more like thoughtful versus just surface level?
So I did. Let's see. Good lord, this is a while ago. I did one cosplay. Oh, that's right. Gene Starwin from Outlaw Star. I did cosplay him with some like dreads, like red dreads and stuff. Um, and that I felt like it felt more natural to me just to have that kind of style, especially with his hairstyle. I was like, okay, it's kind of droopy, so I said, okay, try to find something with a bit of locks that kind of represent that. Um, but yeah, honestly, I think it's pretty cool just, to try a little style difference, something that works with you. So it worked with me as I had a good one, a good time with that one.
Well, as far as my experience goes, as black people, we gonna do us for one. All right, if you seen my Drunkle Iro cosplay, you notice how my hair isn't exactly straight. It's in dreads. Despite having a hairline pushed back and everything. So like, and the T, I added that personally. Like, hey, that just adds to the blackness of the cosplay. That was totally on purpose. That was not an accident. But one thing that gets me, because I've known people that will avoid certain cosplays, because they don't want to culturally appropriate or race swap or anything. I had to tell one of them, I'm like, look, whenever faced with that issue, I want you to remember one name, Tsunade from Naruto. You really trying to tell me that this blonde hair, blue-eyed, shaped like a Coke bottle woman is Japanese? Exactly. Wear the cosplay. Wear it.
For me, it's like I love seeing when locks or afros are put into cosplays because it's just you adding something to yourself in the cosplay, and it makes you feel comfortable. Perfect example is I debuted my Gambit yesterday, right? And I had a wig for it. I put the wig on. It was like it was like straight with the spikes and stuff like that. Nothing against when you wear a wig like that because you want the cosplay to be accurate. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, if I don't take this stupid thing off my head, I was like, my gambit is gonna have a Caesar cut with some waves. God damn it, that's it. It's simple as that. So just being comfortable in your own skin and just saying like, hey, it's he gonna be black today. Simple as that.
Gonna make a name for yourself today.
And honestly, I gotta say, when you said the thoughtfulness of it, that's the biggest thing. Like, oh, people think, oh, we're just gonna make it our black style. No, we're gonna be thoughtful to this character and also put our own spin on it. Cause why not? And also, yeah, with the wig thing, I'm like, come on, man, this hotel hot, man. I'd rather just go natural for real.
Had two. I was sweating. It was just beads of sweat. I was like, I gotta take this off. I'm sorry.
But
All right, so kind of going off that, are there characters that you wish more black men felt empowered to cosplay?
Um, like for me, it's just going to be it's strangely enough I'm focused on like MiHoYo games, so I like those characters that like have a whole bunch of like accessories and things like that, but it's very intimidating because a lot of times, you do something from like a Chinese game and then there's some people who have issue because like I said your skin color. You're like, "Oh, you're not this character." And the fact that some of those games, they don't hardly have any, black people or, dark-skinned people. But I like to, like I said, encourage, people just, go for it. Just, do your own style and, just vibe off of it.
I already said before, I run on the haterade. You know, I mean, it's like, look, you tell me you can't be black. I'm like, oh, really? You know, like I said before, I mean, you got a whole lot of non-Japanese people trying to play canonically non-Japanese characters. So I mean, if they can do it, why can't you? All right, you know, I mean, in the end, put it on. Just put it on. You look good. Put it on. Damn right.
For me, I'm actually starting to see more, people just push the boundaries on who they can do, especially when you just like it and you like that character and you don't care what people think about it. You're just gonna cosplay it. I'm seeing so many Black Naruto's running around, Black Sasuke's, and all these characters that are, when they're portrayed in the anime, they're Japanese or they're white, and we're just like, well, I like the character, so I'm gonna cosplay him. Compared to, I would say, 10, 15 years ago when cosplay was just coming up, everybody was like, well, I can't do that because that person's not black. Well, I can't do that because that person's not Hispanic. Now it's kind of like, I don't care what the people are going to say. I'm going to do it. And I'm starting to see that, and I'm starting to enjoy it.
To be honest, like I'm short, little chubby, and all that, and throughout the years, I done an Alien, Kratos. Yesterday, if you saw me walking around as Shredder, what's up? But to just go for it. Like, I know there's the stigmas of like, oh, we can't do this or we shouldn't do that. Why? Like, this is our lives, what we choose to do, how we choose to live. And if this is how we like to express our creativity, then why not?
Good answers. Good answers. So, as black male judges or cosplayers in a space where representation hasn't always been strong, how do you view your role beyond judging, just judging?
So that's a tough one. But in general, I do competitions and stuff. And one of the main things to do, for me, as a male cosplayer and also sewist, is just to encourage, more guys to just come into, say, hey, look, I'm here. You can come here too, you can learn from me, if you have any questions, I can, help you out online, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. My main thing is just, like I said, just being there for other men, black men, or any guys, just kind of encourage them, because I know it's like a dominated sport with, female swords, but I want to also encourage the men to come in as well. So that's just my thing.
Again, 3 words. Put it on. Put it on. I'm looking at you, Lambda Lambda. Put it on.
For me, I feel like beyond that, what I can do to encourage people is when I first started getting into cosplay, there weren't any tutorials. There weren't any people online, teaching and showing people stuff. It was trial and error for me. I literally had to figure things out. And then sometimes I feel like a lot of bigger creators or bigger, cosplays, they don't tell their secrets, quote unquote. And I'm just like, there ain't no secrets anymore. It's online. You could Google anything and it's gonna pop up. It's the YouTube University. And I tell people all the time when they be like, oh, how did you do that? If you ever DM me, hey, I have a question, and you ask me that question, I hope you got some time because I am going to hit you with so much knowledge that I personally know to the point where now we're going back and forth, and maybe you taught me something. I've been doing this for over 15 years, and I learn something new every day. I never tell somebody that I know everything. I'm good at a lot of stuff, but I don't know everything. So when I'm going back and forth with people on the floor or just online, and I'll be like, hey, like, teach me something. Like, how can I do this? How can I like to take every little thing from everybody and then just make myself better and vice versa. And I'm a big person on karma, so I just like to treat everybody how they feel like they should be treated and vice versa. And it'll come back tenfold for you.
Man, I can't really follow that, man. You just got me. Oh man, what do you say to that? But okay, honestly, just seeing, well, in my case with the kids, seeing their eyes light up when they see something that I've done or something that someone else has done, that's inspiring. And then even as an adult, seeing everyone's amazing work, like even these fellow gentlemen up here. Like, yeah, I follow all y'all pages. I be seeing what y'all do. Uh, it's inspiring, and then it's also like, okay, one, I know who to go to about whatever project I want to work on next. I know who might have a good answer for me, might put me in the right direction. And I always love that because, not to quote Deadpool and Wolverine, but sure, I wouldn't mind doing this till I'm 90.
All right, awesome. Well, yeah, kind of on that vein. So, what does it mean to you when a young black boy or a black man they may or may not be in cosplay, they may be a little scared? What does it mean when they approach you specifically as a fellow black man?
It's going to be really short, but essentially, hey, I can do it, you can do it. With like resources and stuff, and of course in community and everything. I'm just showing people that, hey, anything is possible if you put your mind to it.
It actually warms my heart when I'm approached. I mean, I admit, I have a coworker now. He's a young Korean man. I've been trying to talk to him like, bruh. Do Invincible, something. Or you can be Zuko, just put a little passion in your, or wear your suit, just keep your Superman t-shirt on, like, just do something, man. Because I don't think he's quite ready to do K-pop Demon Hunter, although he would totally eat if he did that. I'm telling you, he would. But I'm working on him. But it warms my heart when somebody approaches me about it. And hey, I'm like, how much time you got, bruh? You got to talk.
For me, it brings me a lot of joy because when they see that, hey, this person is artistic. This person created something from nothing. I love to see that in little black boys. And for me, when I was growing up, I was into painting. I was into like model trains and making models and stuff. And my dad used to buy me the dinosaur kits where you would pop out the pieces and put it together and it'll make the dinosaur. Like I was addicted to all that stuff. So that's what got me into cosplay. And now in this day and age, you got the iPad kids. Everything is on the computer. Everything's like we grew up playing video games. Yeah, sure, but we still had activities. We got our hands dirty. We painted. We drew. And sometimes I feel like we're losing that. But cosplay, I feel like can kind of bring that back. Today with the cosplay, yesterday with the cosplay contest, when I'm looking at these build books and I'm seeing everybody put so much passion into making something from nothing, it brings so much joy to me because I don't want nobody to lose that. I don't want that out to be gone with people. So when I see little boys coming to me like, oh, you made that? Yes, it's possible for you to do this too. And I'm here to show you that.
In my case, I just feel deeply honored. Like seeing somebody's eyes light up when they look at me, asking a bunch of questions. It feels like, hey, I did something right. I feel good. They feel good. And honestly, I can't wait to see what they do next.
All right, so kind of following up to that. So we now have a new Black Cosplayer of the Year, and also, new for this year is a young Black Cosplayer of the Year. I'm very proud to have those people. So for you all and for you, Jonathan, for the kids, what's one thing about the winners cosplay that stood out to you that made you want to choose them?
I'm just gonna say, like, I was surprised that the shoes were like 3D printed because with 3D printing you have to be very particular about how much filament you use, where the layer lines are, how much here and there. It's a lot of processing work. But I was very impressed with that they were like walking on like kind of like a little horseshoes with their cosplay. It was very impressive.
Yeah, piggyback on what he just said, it was like the combined number of disciplines that were employed, making this cosplay and everything. And I mean, just even with a brief familiarity with the character, I mean, it's like I look at the cosplayer, look at the character, looked over everything, and just, I mean, it was like, hey, mind blown. Like, okay, yeah, you're definitely up there.
And for me, it's the same thing. I piggyback off those two. It's just the passion put into the cosplay and how much that person loves that character. They kept going on and on about how they love the character, how much they wanted to get as accurate as possible, and they put as much work as possible into it, and making the templates from scratch, and then sewing everything, doing certain parts by hand, doing certain parts by the sewing machine. Then they had to go to another avenue of talent with the 3D printing. Then they had to go to another avenue of talent with the EVA foam. So like just taking all those things, I call them the infinity stones of cosplay. They would pluck in each stone and put it together for their gauntlet to just make the ultimate cosplay. So that's what impressed me.
What impressed me with the winner for the kids cosplay contest is not just the creativity with the hood, the dress, the entire outfit. It was the fact that she went along and said, "Oh, I'm not just one character. I'm a fusion." I was inspired by both of these things and pulled a sword out the basket. I was like, "Okay, okay." The creativity was high, and I loved it.
All right, so our last question is, what does legacy look like for you at BlerDCon or other conventions or cosplay spaces? The word legacy, what does that mean?
I think with legacy is kind of a thing where you kind of pass down information or pass down, I guess, your kind of energy, your vibe to other people to encourage them to keep moving forward. So my legacy is just, saying, hey, I'm still here and I'm fighting for everybody, especially with me trying to get into international cosplay contests right now. So my goals right now is just to learn how to do more, of course, more sewing, but also more skits stuff, because a lot of the international cosplay stuff is going to be about skit things. So that's one thing I'm going to work on for now.
Well, legacy to me, I mean, to sound like a bit of a broken record, but I'm sure everybody's parents here have told them at one point or other, I didn't have this growing up. Well, I really didn't. I did not have this arena, where people have this kind of shared interest growing up. So now that I see that it is here, legacy to me is letting everybody else know, like, hey, this is here for you. If I can let you know that, I mean, if I let one person know about it, that's a success. That's legacy.
For me, I would say legacy, especially for BlerDCon, is just the vibe of it. When people ask me, they go, oh my goodness, what kind of con is it? How is it? I've never been. I really want to go. And I was like, think about a giant cookout. That's it, with us blurs, and everybody was sharing our passion for the fandoms and stuff. Where versus bigger cons like the international ones or like New York Comic Con or Anime Con, where I run into a lot of people and everybody's so focused on just making content, or they're in their phone and stuff like that. Not to say it's not happening here, but I feel here is a lot more intimate. It's a big party. It's a big, like, everybody's my cousin, and we all getting together once a year to have a giant cookout. We just having a fun for the weekend. That's how I feel like BlerDCon is when you pass it down to legacy.
Family reunion.
And I gotta say, with legacy, the impact of cons such as BlerDCon, to piggyback off what you said, like the vibe, like no con funk, everybody getting together, good music, good times. It's a beautiful thing, and the legacy as far as myself is just I want to spread positivity, and keep at it. So that's how I feel.
All right, well, that's all our questions for today. Thank you, Kings. And thank you all for coming to learn a little bit more about our judges. And so I hope y'all enjoy the rest of BlerDCon. Stick around for closing. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, please. Talk about yourselves. Yes.
Oh, my handle is Alphonse Media or Isaiah Blue. You can look for either of those, but it's Alphonse Media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook.
Prepare to copy. Yeah, it's at Blaque Knyght on both Instagram and TikTok. That's spelled Blaque, BLAQUE, Knight, KNYGHT, all one word. You can find me on both.
And mine is simple. It's SirJulius Cosplay. So Sir like a knight, Julius like Julius Caesar, and then cosplay, all one word. SirJulius Cosplay across all platforms.
And I had to be difficult and a super geek, so mine is cryptic cyborg _009 on IG.
It's your username, not a password.
So
I feel bad about mine now. Damn.
Who here watched Cyborg 009? I'm sorry. I like that show.
All right, thank you. Stick around. I think closing ceremonies is next. But yeah, all four of us will be here. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't introduce myself, did I? Well, I'll tell you again. My name is Allison. My cosplay name is Mithril Arts, like Mithril, like the metal in Lord of the Rings. and arts, and I'm the cosplay director. So if y'all are thinking about competing, please do. We have a kids cosplay. Yes, I did make my kimono, African kimono.
Hey.
Thank you. So yeah, please, and then we have a cosplay meetup space right here in the basement, Washington A, and we have cosplay fabric there for you to take home. I don't want to take it home. So yeah, that's it. Thank you all for coming. Stick around for closing ceremonies, and peace out.
Peace out.
Thank you.
It's all love, folks.